And police are providing more details about a suspicious death on Boxing Day. However, the exact circumstances surrounding what happened, well, they remain unclear. CP24's Beatrice Faisman is near Roncesvalles and Dundas and joins us live with the latest. So, Beatrice, you began covering this for us yesterday. You're here again today. Connect the dots for us.
It's becoming a little bit more clear to us, Bakari, what happened here on Boosted. This is between Indian Road and Roncesvalles. It was 9 o'clock yesterday morning that police now tell us that a man in his 60s went out for a walk. He came back home to his residence behind me here on Boosted. And when he returned to his residence, it seemed like he either collapsed or lost consciousness. It's one of his family members from inside the residence that then called 911 and essentially told dispatchers what had happened. Paramedics and police arriving here very quickly. They tried their best to save this man's life. He was taken to hospital where he was tragically pronounced dead, Bakari. And now we're learning as well, and this is some bits and pieces of information that we started to get from police yesterday, though they kind of recanted at some point as well. There was someone in the area who was seen throwing objects. What those objects are, police never elaborated to us, but someone in the area seen throwing objects, and yesterday police telling us that this suspect and the man in his 60s, the victim, got into some kind of altercation. It sounds like possibly the victim might have been struck by one of these objects. And I say possibly. I want to share with you, Bakari, a couple of photos that was shared with CP24 by the direct neighbor to this man in his 60s who passed away. The neighbor's Ford Bronco that's parked in the driveway, a communal driveway that they ultimately share, shows a giant rock. This is a Fairstone rock. Looks like something that was taken from an interlock or a portion of one of these Fairstone rocks, was tossed into the back window of this Ford Bronco. The back window was shattered. This neighbor telling CP24 when he parked the car there on Christmas night, the window was intact. When he came out yesterday morning, amidst the police commotion, he saw that his window had been broken. Police then covered the piece of this rock with an evidence marker and a cardboard box and told this man that this was now part of their police investigation. And he says they actually seized it for evidence as well. So it seems as though this is all connected, and police actually telling this neighbor this rock or piece of the rock was connected to this police investigation as well. As for the neighbors here in this community, Bakari, they're shocked. They're dismayed that something like this could have happened, and they're still also trying to get an understanding as to what happened. But many of the neighbors have now identified the victim to CP24. He's someone who's lived here for decades, at least 30 years, likely longer. A family man, either 4 or 5 children, at least 3 daughters and a son. Multiple neighbors telling us this was a man who was a contractor for most of his life. And one man that I just spoke to who was absolutely in shock said this was a beautiful person who would never hurt anyone, and he just couldn't believe that something like this could have happened to him. So here's a bit of what my conversations with neighbors have been like here on Boosted this afternoon.
We've had medical incidents on the street. You get the fire, you usually get the fire truck and an ambulance, and then there's suddenly more paramedic vehicles, and then 5 cruisers, and then they started closing the street up. So it became apparent that it was a serious incident.
I don't think so. It was pretty quiet. Yeah, unless he was approached, I guess so. Anyway, those things go through your mind. Was it targeted? Was it something that was that he had association with or not? But then why would they smash the car? So all those things are going through your head,
And so just obviously so concerning to everyone who lives in this neighborhood. Was it random? That's the big question here. And if it was, well, what are police going to do about it at that point? You heard that one neighbor, Dan, asking for a bolstered police presence if that was the case. Other neighbors saying they did see someone who was throwing objects in the neighborhood around that same time as well. And when it comes to the man in his 60s who tragically lost his life, again, neighbors describing him as a beautiful person. We spoke to a woman who lives directly across the street, and here's what she told us.
He was wonderful. He raised all 5 kids. They're educated. They're all good kids. Playing soccer because they're Croatian. Playing soccer, mom was always taking this guy, the other guys. Yeah, he was good guys. And she was wonderful mother because she was always in a go.
We've tried to talk to the family, of course. They're distraught by what happened as well, Bakari. They did not want to appear on camera and have asked us for some privacy right now. As for the suspect, we can tell you he is still outstanding. Police yesterday describing it as a white man in his 40s wearing dark clothing, and he was riding a standard black mountain bike, as the inspector described it to us here at the scene yesterday. This person has still not been caught. This is so far being deemed a suspicious death, but once the coroner's report, the autopsy is finished and the coroner describes what this man died from then it could possibly turn into a homicide investigation. I'm told homicide detectives have been engaged. They were over at 11 Division working with detectives from the Criminal Investigations Bureau last night. So depending on what the autopsy shows, from there it could become a homicide. Police saying they'll be releasing more information when it's available, Bakari, but anxiously looking to get this suspect into custody. Back to you.
Helping us to paint a clearer picture of exactly what happened in this both sad and disturbing story. CP24's Beatrice Vaisman. Thank you.